For the next hour, the green and gold are in charge. Welcome to In the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. In the Huddle is brought to you by Mole Lake Casino Lodge and Conference Center. Now, here's Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tanners and Kimberly. Welcome to In the Huddle. Green Bay Packers defensive lineman BJ Raji. I'm Bill Scott. Good to have you along. Our program tonight brought to you by Mole Lake and Casino. Packers knock off the Falcons 25-14, improving to 5-0. And the defense with its best performance by far to date. You guys, after the first 14 points, BJ, it was lights out for the Falcons.
Yeah, I think, we came out, we didn't play as well as we intended, in the first couple drives. But I think we settled down, and we did some good things, and obviously we held them scoreless after they had 14.
Yeah, I thought it was the perfect storm for Atlanta in terms of being able to pull off an upset. They got out to the 14-point lead. They got the turnover. They got the drop pass for a touchdown in the end zone. Everything kind of seemed to be going their way. They just couldn't follow through, and you guys obviously tightened things up.
Yeah, I think they have great playmakers. I think we made some great adjustments, and I got to credit the coaching staff on that. And I think players kind of tuned into the game, and obviously going into a hostile environment like that, I think it can kind of overwhelm you. But once we settled down, I think we played pretty well.
The Packers lost Chad Clifton during the game to a hamstring injury, and took a little while for Marshall Newhouse and Derek Sherrod to kind of get into the flow of things. But once they did, they were pretty good.
Yeah, that's my philosophy personally. Being a player, I think that that's the best kind of experience you can get. You can watch all you want, but when you really get in the game, I kind of think that you kind of, just understand like the magnitude of the position you're put in, and I think you kind of elevate yourself to another level.
I thought the Georgia Dome crowd, as loud, I'm sure, as it was, I thought the offense did a pretty good job in it in terms of, the false start penalties, the things that have plagued them in the past. They didn't have too many issues yesterday.
Well, I thought so. Obviously, when the offense is on the field, I'm kind of, watching them, kind of making adjustments, excuse me, with my position coach. But from what I saw, I think they did a great job.
You expressed your disapproval of Atlanta during the week, and you expressed your dislike of Atlanta after the game fairly strongly.
Obviously, you being a media guy, how people take that. What I was simply saying was, the lack of respect that they've showed us. I just felt like it was time. I didn't think I said anything too crazy before the game. I just said that, they're a little cheap. Maybe I questioned their talent level, because you look around the league and you see 31 other teams play. You don't really see that type of play. So I felt like, if you're doing things between the whistle, outside the whistle, then I'm not sure what you're doing through the whistle. And after the game, I was just redefining how I felt. I felt like if the Atlanta Falcons were able to express themselves without any retribution or anything, why couldn't I, after us having a big game and obviously beating them twice in a row?
The lack of respect, I guess, is what kind of gets me. Yeah, they won 13 games a year ago, but when push came to shove, when they had an opportunity in the playoffs, they pretty much got buried. You guys go win the Super Bowl. It's one thing to do a little chirping,
right,
but it's another thing to be as strong about it as
right.
they were.
And that's not how I felt. I feel like we're a class organization when we give everybody their just dues. But when you're outright trying to disrespect us as a franchise and trying to discredit what we've accomplished last year, we can't take that line down.
Second half had 5 punts, 2 interceptions in succession. So when you guys slammed the door, you really slammed the door.
I think, you got to credit the guys when, sometimes what separates the games in this league is when guys have an opportunity to make a play, they convert. Sometimes you'll see different teams, guys have their hands on the ball and they can't come up with it somehow, some way. But I think our guys back deep in the secondary did a great job of, when the opportunity presented itself, they took advantage.
I thought there was a point in time when they started, after punting 3 or 4 times in a row, they started to drive and they started to move the ball just a little bit. And at that point, it's still a close football game. It was a 1-score difference. If they score, they take the lead. Matt Ryan, I think the situation was 3rd and 11, and he scrambles on the play, and he needs to get a first down, otherwise they punt again.
Right.
And what does he do? He slides a yard shy of the first down marker, and I don't get it. I mean, I know quarterbacks, you know, they're a premium in the National Football League, but I just think when the game is on the line and you need to make a play, most quarterbacks in the league, including Aaron Rodgers, would have done whatever it took to get that first down, and I didn't think Matt Ryan was willing to do that.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I've played with Matt in college. I know the type of competitor he is. I don't think he intentionally meant to slide before the yard marker, and I think he had a split decision to make a split second to make a decision whether he was to take a big hit or, you know, just slide and kind of get out of harm's way. And, you know, it was relatively close, so I'm not sure if he just misjudged the sticks. I don't know what really happened.
Mm-hmm. What adjustments defensively did you guys have to make from early on?
Just in different coverages. You know, they came out with a lot of different plays we haven't seen. You know, they had a screen play, like a play-action screen play we haven't seen, a reverse to Julio Jones. And then sometimes when you get things that you haven't seen before, you know, your technique kind of diminishes. I think that it was just great coaching that he just reassured us that as long as we play out, everyone does their job, we have a good chance.
I thought after the early deficit, I thought from about the 1.25 mark on, I thought the pressure was much more intense, and it was from all over. It wasn't just one side here, one side there. I thought the whole group defensively had pretty good pressure.
Yeah, I mean, we play hard. You know, sometimes we don't execute as well as we'd like, but our philosophy is if you can kind of stop the run on first down, the second down, then you're given a situation where you kind of flourish as a defense.
12 different receivers. Aaron Rodgers hits. James Jones, remember week 1, he was
right.
you know, kind of you know, the guy, the odd man out, and it just goes to show you that if you just kind of just keep running the plays, working hard, you get your chance.
Right. I mean, everyone knew on our defensive side of the ball that eventually our offense would catch fire. We just kind of wanted to, you know, weather the storm a little bit and kind of keep the game kind of when it could be in reach for them.
Jermichael Finley, after last week, thought he should have had more opportunities, and then he gets one in the end zone and he drops one. You know, what did you think when that happened?
I feel like Jermichael is an elite player. I mean, he's not going to catch every pass. I mean, it was unfortunate for us that it would happen to be a touchdown pass in which he dropped. But he'll probably catch more of those than he drops.
Yeah, I haven't seen him drop one in a long time.
Exactly.
It was just an opportunity.
Yeah, I have nothing to be worried about. Obviously, back to fundamentals with that, catching the football. He's made some spectacular catches, so something so simple, we don't have to worry about that.
All right, we got to go. We'll be back with more after this.
Now, back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back. Transportation for our guest is provided by L&S Classic Limousine Service, personal professional service for all occasions. Call 800-830-5933 for your reservations. Along with my co-host BJ Raji, it is time to meet our guest tonight in his second NFL season, 7th round pick by the Green Bay Packers in 2010. Let's welcome C.J. Wilson. Thanks for coming out, C.J.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
A couple of tackles in yesterday's game as the Packers go 5-0. Nice to be a part of that, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Most definitely. Great to be a part of a team, you know, like the Packers this year. And this, you know, the way we were playing that ball this year just means a lot to be on the team.
You saw significant time in your rookie season. There were some injuries along the defensive line, and that allowed you to get in to the lineup more often. 21 tackles in 15 games, plus a quarterback sack. There's nothing that beats playing time for learning experiment. It's one thing to learn on the sides and watch, but nothing better than playing.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You know, that's when you get the most experience in the games. You know, you can practice all the time, but, you know, the most experience when you come to games. And being that we had injuries last year, you know, it just happened at a bad time, and the coach said, you know, we need you. So I went in there and gave it my best, you know, didn't want to have a letdown, you know, because I'm coming to the game. So I just thank God for that.
How did you think you handled it?
I think I handled it pretty good, you know, and I just look back on last year and be like, man, who was that guy? But I think I did pretty good last year, and I'm just trying to get better this year.
As you watched BJ, as you watched him grow throughout the course of the season, your thoughts on the way CJ played?
I think he's progressing very well. He has some talents that you can't coach. But like any young player, myself included, it always boils down to, when you have mistakes, it always boils down to the technique of it, and we're all working on it together. We're winning, but our coach is doing a good job of continuing to harp on us about mistakes. I think that we're growing as a D-line. TJ is a great asset to our team. He comes in, he's very versatile. He can play the 3-4 defense as well as the nickel. So I think that adds great value to him.
The defense started the Super Bowl in their hippo package, which meant a fourth down lineman, and it meant that you actually got to start the Super Bowl. That'd be pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it was real cool, and yeah. And I'm standing on the sideline, like, waiting for the personnel to be called, and coach like, hippo, you win. So I just run in there like, oh man, I'm about to start the game.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how many plays you play, you will always go down in history as one of the 11 that started defensively in the Super Bowl.
Sounds good.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real cool.
What did you think when they went that? I mean, you went that route. I mean, that's it.
I was like, oh man, I got to go. And he's like, hippo, and looking at me like, you better get in the game. So I went in there, ran in there.
Not enough time to be nervous, huh?
Yeah, she ain't had no time to be nervous.
Yeah. Were you nervous for the Super Bowl?
Oh yes, most definitely. And after the singing of the national anthem, just made me feel better. So coach called me and they said, you up, hippo? I ran in the game and just played my snap.
Yeah, well, when you see the person that sings the anthem mess up, then you figure, well, they can mess up, I'm all right. Yeah. Four-year starter at East Carolina, Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year, both junior and senior year by the Sporting News. What did you think of your time there?
I think it was a great time for me to, just showcase what I had, just great coaches, great teammates. I came from a small school, so I had to always been like a player working my way up, to the top. So I just started at the bottom and just took coaching every day and just worked hard to get on the field and to just play ball.
What was the most difficult thing about being a rookie in the National Football League, coming into Green Bay, trying to impress the coaches enough to give you those opportunities?
When I was in college, we had plays, but you can remember your plays. But in the NFL, it's like a phone book. The coach gave me my playbook the first day. I'm like, is this the phone book? It's so big. So many plays, that you have to remember and just know. So it's all mental. In the NFL, it's so much mental stuff aspect to the game.
BJ, you went through that. What kind of a swimming process are these young players doing?
Like you said, especially in this defense, it's not like any other. They ask a lot from you from a defensive lineman. You might have coverage on some plays. You might have, run responsibility then coverage. This depends on what coach obviously calls. Generally, coming from a 4-3 defense, it's more of what a young kid is used to in college. This defense is very complex, so most kids haven't seen this in college.
Mm-hmm. Your brother Amos played linebacker at New Mexico, same team that Brian Urlacher played on at that time, and you have a cousin, Keith Rivers. Remember Keith Rivers, right? He was the first-round pick by the Cincinnati Bengals back in 2008. So once again, there's a little bloodline in the family of National Football League success.
Oh yes, sir. All my brothers and play sports. My sisters too. I got 6 brothers, 2 sisters. So a pretty big family. All play sports. So
it's always interesting. You love music, don't you?
Oh yeah.
In fact, you play the piano, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How good are you?
I'm pretty good. I can do a little something. I'm pretty good. I practice here and there, but it's just something I picked up when I was younger.
Yeah, always interesting to see what players that devote so much of their life to athletics, the things that they like to do on the side, and piano's no easy thing to learn. I mean, I'm sure there were a few lessons in your life, right?
Oh yeah, my mother showed me how to play the piano when I was like 3 or 4. But she don't know how to play herself. It's just so funny because she just play a tune and she'd let me find it. She'd sing a tune and she'd tell me to find it. And that's how I learned how to play. And I just...
So you don't read music?
Cannot read music, but I can play.
Is that right?
You sing and I can play it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Have you ever played musically?
I played the drums for a bit. Obviously, piano is a little more complex than that.
Yeah.
He obviously played a little bit at the Super Bowl for us. So I got a chance to listen to it.
Cool. Where'd you play, in the hotel piano bar?
Oh yeah, we did. We had a great time the night before the Super Bowl. Everybody got together and we just jammed some old school tunes, and it was great.
You kind of smiled when he said he played the drums.
Yeah, I just pictured him playing the bongos.
I didn't say bongos. I said the drums.
A little trivia here for you. I'm going to see if both of you guys know this. In the Packers media guide, who comes before you and who comes after you?
Mike Neal and I couldn't tell you who comes after me.
Tremont Williams is before you, and Charles Woodson is right after you. So if people are looking for either one of those two players, as chances are they're going to...
No, he wasn't saying class. He was saying just general.
Yeah, just alphabetically. All right, BJ, who's before you and after you?
Oh, man. Maybe Corliss.
Here you go. There's one.
And who's S? Who's S? Whoever has an S last name. I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers.
Was it Rodgers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I'm impressed that you knew Corliss, though.
Yeah, how funny is that?
That's very good. Only the sixth time in franchise history, guys, that the Packers started a season 5-0, and very good.
Very good.
And just so you know, the other 5 times, 1929, 30, 31, 62, and 65, the Packers went on to win the NFL championship.
Wow, that's great.
Sounds good.
Usually bodes pretty well, you know.
I like to hear that. I mean, obviously it's still early in the season, but you know, hopefully history repeats itself.
Yeah. Favorite college memory?
Winning the championship twice, you know, and just back-to-back champions. That was my favorite time when my teammate picked off the ball for, you know, it's going to be a touchdown if he didn't pick it off, and just the crowd went crazy.
Did you play in a bowl game then?
Yeah, I played in 4 bowl games all 4 years.
Okay. What was the biggest one?
I'll say the biggest one was, they all was big, but I said my personally was Boise State. We played them in Hawaii Bowl.
Boise State,
yeah.
Wow. How'd you do in that game?
I did pretty good. You know, I went against a guy I just played against, Ryan Clady. I can't remember what he played for, but the Broncos. And I went against him in the Boise State and Hawaii Bowl, and it was a great experience.
Yeah. When did you know the NFL was a possibility for you?
I would say after my sophomore year, and the coach told me, he said, you might have a chance to play the next level if you keep working hard, and I said, okay. Okay,
now you're a 7th round pick of the Packers. Were you projected as a draft pick or a free agent?
I was projected higher than 7th round, but you know, as you know, the lockout happened, so all these juniors came. It was so much going on, but I'm just thank God for giving me this opportunity to be here for the Packers.
Yeah. Were you kind of sweating it out on draft day then?
Oh man, it was the longest day of my life. The longest day.
All right, Falcons players showing no respect. What were the fans like?
I feel like the fans, you know, they obviously were hyped up because after, you know, they left with a bad taste in their mouth last time we played them. But I think it was a dome, so it was pretty loud, and they have all the Titantron things with Samuel L. Jackson, you know, and get the people hyped up. And I think it was a great atmosphere for, you know, a primetime game and the magnitude of the game between the two teams.
All right, we'll continue in the huddle from Tanners and Kimberly after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
To In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we're back at Tanners and Kimberly. It's brought to you by Mole Lake Casino, Lodge and Conference Center. Enjoy the excitement of Vegas close to home at Mole Lake Casino, Lodge and Conference Center in beautiful Crandon, Wisconsin. Back with BJ Raji and our guest tonight, C.J. Wilson, after the Packers knock off Atlanta 25-14. Well, Aaron Rodgers threw his 100th career touchdown pass yesterday, becoming the 5th fastest to the century mark in the history of the National Football League. Only Dan Marino, Kurt Warner, Johnny Unitas, and Peyton Manning did it faster.
Wow.
It took Rodgers 59 games. Everybody else was a little quicker than that.
Wow.
Pretty good,
That's
huh?
outstanding. That's outstanding.
Great.
Just knowing Aaron, obviously, personally, how hard he works. You know, he has all the talent, but he plays and studies the game like he has a huge chip on his shoulder, and I think he comes out and performs well, and obviously the stats are indicative of that.
What did you make of all that Brett Favre hoopla last week?
I don't know Favre really well, so you probably get a better, I guess, I don't know, I don't want to say true, a more honest answer from maybe a Greg or Donald or somebody. But from what it seems like, I just felt like the timing of it was, the only way I could take it is a little bit of animosity, you know, because the timing. You know, the guy's coming off a great performance, and then now you choose to say this. You know, I felt the timing was a little bit like, you know, kind of a little bit of jealousy, which he has no reason to be. I mean, if you're a longtime Packers fan, like no one can take Favre's place. You know, that's how I look at it. He's a great player. He obviously won a Super Bowl here, won a lot of games, league MVP for a number of years. He has his own place in history. I don't think there's any need for that.
You know what my thought process is, I know it was several quarterbacks removed from when Bart Starr played.
Right.
One of the great quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, let alone this franchise.
Right.
And he did nothing but support Brett Favre through his entire career. And Brett, had more ups than he had downs, but he had a few blemishes on the card. And Bart Starr was totally supportive of that. My thought process is once you become a part of the family,
right,
you support the family.
Right.
And if you can't be supportive verbally to a member of that family, then don't say anything at all, but don't bring him down.
Right.
And to me, that's what Favre, in a way, is kind of trying to do. There seems to be a little jealousy of some sorts there, and I agree with you. There shouldn't be.
Right. I think one mind led me to believe, just like me, obviously being here, kind of hearing the story, how it kind of unraveled. I think he could possibly be taking some shots at, guys higher up, and I guess he's using Aaron as a target because obviously from what I hear, Aaron has been nothing but, supportive of him. When obviously Aaron wanted to play when he was drafted, but he was very supportive of Favre and didn't give him any reason. So I don't really think he has any real reason to have anything against Aaron. But I think maybe the organization for how things, unfolded, and eventually he was actually,
Yeah, I'm glad at least for one thing that Aaron is taking the high road in this.
Right.
And not creating a back and forth, he said, that kind of thing. So, kudos to him because he has no reason to go down that road and doesn't need to go down that road. So he's handled it very well. 12 receivers yesterday catching passes for the Packers. We're starting to see more and more of that. In fact, it's been, kind of the way Rodgers operates. But usually it's 9, 10, 11. 12 is like everybody that's suited up that can catch the football is catching a pass.
I mean, if you watch him, just to see how Aaron just operates, man, just on fire, you know what I'm saying? He just acts so accurate, just you sit on the sideline, I watch him on the screen, it's just like, man, I'm glad he plays for us, to be going against this guy, it's hard to do. So
you guys have been at the Metrodome, been at Ford Field, you've been at the Superdome, and obviously at the Georgia Dome. How does that noise, where does that rank?
The Georgia Dome?
Yeah.
I think when like my rookie year when we played, the Vikings, and that was the big game, the big Monday Night Football game. Favre, I think it was his first game against the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the loudest dome game I've been in. The playoff game, the divisional round last year was, I believe, was pretty loud. It wasn't as loud as yesterday as it was the divisional round, but the Vikings, the first game against Brett Favre, the Packers, and last year's divisional round, probably the two loudest dome games I've played since I've been in the league.
Yeah. Does that usually it just bothers the offense. Does it affect you guys at all?
Actually,
do.
The defense, personally, I think that it kind of helps us because when we're at home, our crowd is generally loud, and we can't hear a lot of the checks when you get on the road. The the fans get a little bit quieter for the offense, so you can hear the linebackers and people making checks. So it helps me out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Slow the offense down a little bit, even for the home team.
I wouldn't say slow them down. I would just think that you're able to hear because when you're playing at Lambeau, we're on defense. Obviously, the crowd wants to be a factor in the game. When the home team is on the field, obviously the crowd wants to be a little more quieter, and I think that helps us on the reverse side, and we're able to get the checks and things we need.
Okay, I couldn't help but notice that 1 week after you had a little fun with Tim Tebow, that he went out and threw a touchdown pass and ran for a touchdown and almost brought Denver back to a win over the Chargers yesterday.
Yes, if you're like a coach, a Darren Fox or the head coach, you don't want that drama. You know what I mean? You didn't win the game, so I guess most coaches don't accept moral victories. I know Tebow came and, from what I hear, played well. I didn't watch the game. He already played well and had a chance for them to come back and win, but ultimately that's going to be a tough decision for that guy to make, and I'm glad I'm not in the seat.
I heard a quote. There was a quote somewhere, and I don't know where I saw it, but he felt he had to make amends for the impression that he left on you. So that's why he went out and played well. So.
Nice joke.
Bears at Lions tonight. What's your take on that one, guys?
Lions.
You like the Lions?
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions. They look really good, so I'm going to go with them.
Okay, BJ?
Hopefully the Bears win, because that would help us out in the division,
Of course, I want them to win, too.
You know what I mean?
You don't get that very often. You don't get too many people asking for the Bears for help.
Right, but hopefully they can knock them off, the undefeated road. But just from a team standpoint, the Lions, obviously, I think they're a legit team. I thought towards the end of the season they were becoming that team. And their quarterback is healthy. He's throwing the ball as well as any quarterback in this league. They obviously have one of the better receivers in this league. They do a lot of things on defense, obviously up front. They're dominant. I think the secondary is pretty good as well. This is going to be a good game. It's a divisional game, so there's a little more familiarity with the team. So I think I wouldn't expect a high-scoring game. I just would expect some good, hard-hitting football.
You and I kind of thought the same thing in terms of the Lions. They are 4-0, looking to go 5-0.
Right.
But they're a team that has struggled early out of the gates. They've had to come back in literally almost every game that they've won so far, and had to come from way back, not just a score down. I mean, they've been multiple scores down against the Vikings, against the Cowboys. At some point, if you don't start better out of the gate, that's going to come back to haunt you.
Yeah, I don't think that's the ideal situation they want to get themselves in, down 21-0 at halftime. But the positives, if I'm on the team, I'm looking at it as, we're a really good adversity team. We handle adversity well. We don't stop playing. Obviously, other teams is making some errors for you to get back in the game, but that's how the game of football is. Usually when you continue to play, good things happen to you. In last 2 weeks, I believe, had a good ending for the Lions.
All right, Buffalo's 4-1. 49ers are 4-1. Philadelphia's 1-4. What's more surprising, the 4-1 teams or the 1-4 team?
Wow, I think I probably have to say I didn't think the Eagles was quote unquote as good as they were advertised, the whole dream team thing, but I didn't anticipate them being 1-4 this early. With the level of talent that they have on their teams, I figured they'd have find some way to win some of those close games. Unfortunately for them, it hasn't happened. But the Bills are pretty good. Actually, Nick Barnett had a good game for them yesterday.
Two picks,
one
return for
went to the house. So I was happy for him. Ex-Packer, ex-teammate. But the Eagles definitely the biggest surprise to me this year.
Of course, news in the NFL over the weekend. Al Davis, the longtime owner of the Raiders, passed away on Saturday. They were obviously very inspired on Sunday, went out and won a football game. I'm not sure how much you knew of Al Davis, but any thoughts on his passing?
It was funny, because a lot of times when the media gets involved in a person, in their life and their responsibility, you don't really get to see the real person. So I was happy to hear people like Bill Parcells and guys like this that actually knew him and say good things of him. That made me feel good. And he touched some people's lives.
All right, our email segment of the week, sponsored by Granite Peak Ski Area. That is coming up next. Back with more in the Huddle from Tanners and Kimberly after this on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back here at Tanner's Sports Bar and Grill in Kimberly. Good to have you along with BJ Raji and CJ Wilson. We'd like to welcome listeners on the show tonight listening in Sheboygan on WCLB, in Marshfield on WDLB, up in Oconto on WOCO, in Amory on WXCE, and of course here in the Fox Cities on WHBY and WSCO. It's time now for our email segment. Granite Peak Ski Area in Wausau, the tallest and largest ski area in Wisconsin with over 700 vertical feet and 74 runs. This year offers an expanded beginner area, a new fleet of rental equipment, and 10 new snow guns for the best snowmaking in the state. For more information and discounted season passes and lift tickets, go to skigranitepeak.com today. Time now for our email segment. Let's welcome our good friend Justin Hull to the program.
Thanks, Bill. InTheHuddleShow.com, that is the website. If anybody wants to submit their questions, they can do so there. We'll get to our first questions from Paul and Oshkosh for both of you. Were you highly recruited out of high school, and what other offers, options did you have?
Well, I went to a smaller school in New Jersey. We have some pretty powerhouse schools, like Catholic schools. Well, I went to a small public school. I was probably like a 2-3 star coming out. I had about Virginia. I had a lot of ACC schools. Actually in Nebraska. Little schools like that, but not a ton of offers.
How about you, CJ?
Same thing. His situation. I went to the smallest high school, and I was a 3-star. And it was just between ECU and a couple other schools, but knowing that I didn't have my grades right, so I had to go to ECU because I was ineligible, so I chose them.
Well, you mentioned you know how many stars you were. Is that something you followed when you were in high school? Were you on the site seeing what people were saying about you and that?
I think most high school kids are kind of in tune with that. Like, what else are you doing? You know what I mean? You're not working. You know, you're just really just playing that sport, going to school. And I think that that's really important to you at that time because I think that's when your competitive juices really get flowing. You know, you see this guy's getting this done. You know, he has these type of offers. So I want the same. You know what I mean?
All right, we'll go to our next question here from Bob in Middleton. CJ mentioned playing the piano before and BJ the drums. Any other interesting hobbies or talents that you guys have?
I'm really good at Madden.
No, I think things I would consider a talent. No, I think I play the drums a little bit, but I kind of steered away from that because I haven't really had anyone to play with out here, so just I probably lost a little bit.
You guys could probably find a band in that locker room somewhere, couldn't you?
I'm sure we could, but why? That's the question.
I know.
Why is the question?
Jam on the bye weeks, right? All right, we'll get to the next question here from Ann and Oshkosh. If you weren't playing football or after football, what would you guys like to do with your lives?
I want to coach the high school level so I can help kids to get a second chance like I did.
That's a good question. I really have no idea, to be honest. I would love to make up something, but I don't know what I would be doing.
You got a long time to worry about.
When you plan on playing 12 more years, you got plenty of time to decide, right?
All right, our next question comes from Steve in New London. Outside of winning the Super Bowl, what is your favorite memory as a Green Bay Packer?
I mean, that's hard to win the Super Bowl.
Is that the only memory you can?
I guess I would say meeting the president this year. That was a great thing for us to do. So.
Yeah, I would say the president, probably my touchdown. But just my rookie year, I think, when we clinched the playoffs because we were kind of on the borderline, and when we beat Seattle at home to get into the playoffs, I think that was my rookie year. I'm excited going to the NFL playoffs for the first time, first year, and I was excited about that.
Now, CJ, you chuckled when BJ was talking about scoring his touchdown. What do you remember from seeing that moment?
Oh, man, just seeing him cross the end zone and just do his little dance. It was cool, though, man.
By the way, you're talking about the White House. I think you guys missed the new crop of interns by about 2 weeks, so.
Cool. We don't follow you.
All right. Go ahead.
Anyway, Bob and Madison.
Is that over your head, BJ?
It was our heads.
Next question, Bob and Madison. What is the one thing you could not live without on a road trip?
My cell phone. I mean, that's everybody, I bet, most everybody.
I would go more in depth. I would say my cell phone charger. You'd be surprised, man. Like, they're very scarce on the road, man. You're trying to borrow someone's cell phone charger, they can't spare it.
You can make a little money about that on a road trip.
Yeah, but everything's not about money, man. You know that?
I guess so. All right. We got one last question in here from Bruce in Kimberly. BJ, is that a Boston hat you're wearing? Where is your Brewers hat?
My Brewers hat's actually at home. I chose to wear this hat. I'm neither a Boston Red Sox fan or a Brewers fan. I just like different hats. That's how it is.
I'm afraid to follow up on that one.
He's matching, though,
You got a Brewer hat up on the podium there with you guys, right?
Yeah, I believe someone someone snuck this up here. But, the Brewers won, so I'll let it slide this week.
You a baseball fan at all, CJ?
Yeah, of the other CJ Wilson.
You want to see the Brewers win?
Yeah, I do.
That's a good answer.
All right, that's our email segment, so we'll have more of that, including the naming of our winner coming up in the next half hour. By the way, injury front today, Brian Balaga, they say he'll be tested on Tuesday. Where is he at? Maybe back this week. We'll see after the test on Tuesday. Chad Clifton, he's going to miss some time, but it's not yet known how long with that hamstring injury. It's a pretty good hamstring injury, and those things are tough to judge, but looks like he's going to be out at least a few weeks. So
hope for the best.
Absolutely. All right, Chad Clifton, a good one at the left tackle position. The KG veteran. That's our email segment for the week, brought to you by Granite Peak. We'll select a winner when we come back. We're live at Tanner's in Kimberly, back with our winner, and a look ahead to Sunday's home game against the Rams when we return on the Woodward Radio Network.
Now back to In the Huddle with Bill Scott and Green Bay defensive lineman BJ Raji.
And we are back here at Tanner's in Kimberly. Our last segment of the program with BJ Raji and CJ Wilson. Let's go back out to Justin Hall and get our email winner.
Yeah, Bill, Paul and Oshkosh had the question about the recruiting out of high school, so we picked Paul this week. He'll be the winner of the Granite Peak ski package. Again, inthehuddleshow.com. We put the guest on there, as well as you can put the email question each week. So, Paul, congratulations, you're our winner.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Paul. It's basically skiing for two for an entire weekend, lodging and everything at Granite Peak. So
wow.
Get involved in that. That's a pretty good deal if you like the downhill ski,
yeah,
like I know you do.
Yeah,
I do not.
Have you ever skied at all? Even as a kid, you ever tried it?
No.
No?
I never have. Where I lived, it was always cold enough, so I didn't really have to go on a mountain and not freeze my butt off.
How about you, CJ?
Nah, you won't never catch me skiing.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous. I just like watching it on TV.
Playing football is dangerous. Come on.
Nah, going out is dangerous.
I know the bigger you are, once you get the speed built up, the bigger you are, the harder you fall, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and those trees aren't moving. So they're not gonna move out of your way. So if you come in contact with one of those things, good luck.
Well, the St. Louis Rams are next at home this Sunday at Lambeau Field. On paper, this might be, and I'm only quoting what I read in the newspaper this morning. This might be the easiest opponent on your schedule.
Why are you trying to jinx us, Bill?
I know, right?
I'm
Why are you trying to jinx us?
Telling you what I read in the newspaper this morning.
I'm kidding, but honestly, I've only been in the league. This was my third year. There's no easy opponents. People. That same guy that wrote that article probably said the same thing when we were going to play the 0-7 Buccaneers and we lost my rookie year. So I don't think there's any such thing as an easy opponent, especially coming off of a Super Bowl, a championship. Like, you're gonna get everyone's best shot, and everyone's gonna try to, like, how do I say this, measure their team up against you. These guys won a Super Bowl, how good are we? Well, let's try to play to our best of our ability.
Well, and you bring up a good point. They're 0-4. They've had a lot of injury problems. They're starting to get a little healthier. They're coming off a bye week, so they've had time to rest, more time to prepare for the defending Super Bowl champions. So if there's ever a time that would be really good for them, this could potentially be the time.
Right. I guess their hopes is that they kind of catch us off guard. They're hoping maybe that we don't take this game as serious, but no, I believe that we're going to prepare just as hard. We understand, how hard it is to win in this league, and I don't think we're going to take any win for granted. Yeah,
people always say that you might look past somebody, and I always think that, and it does happen. You see teams go out there and just lay complete eggs against bad teams, and whether they're actually looking past somebody or not, I don't know. But it seems like it does happen from time to time. But it would really be hard to believe that when you only get 16 regular season games and you prepare all week long, that regardless of how good or bad the opponent is, that you wouldn't want to just go in there and play lights out every week.
One of the things that our coaches are teaching us this year is, kind of set your own standard of play. It shouldn't matter who you're playing against. Obviously, every week poses a new challenge, but as a team and as an individual, you should set your standards high. Whenever you want to practice field, practice to your standards, what you would accept from yourself. When you play as a team, play to your standards. How would you accept your play, depending if you're playing, the Falcons or if you're playing the Rams. Just as long as you set your own standard, you have a chance every week because you're going to play up to that standard and try to get better every week.
I've often thought, and I've said this many times, that I think Mike McCarthy does as well as anybody, CJ, at getting this football team prepared to play, whether it's the best team in the league or the worst team in the league, that everything's kind of an even keel and the preparation's the same no matter what.
Yeah, I have to echo what BJ said. Our coaching staff do a great job of not letting us, look down on the team. And we, like BJ said, we're going to work hard just like we was working for last week and the week before that. Because, take me back in college, when you do overlook a team, that's the ones that end up beating you. My coach always said when you climb a mountain, you always have to look at the next thing you have to grab in front of you. You can't look to the top or look down because that's when you slip and fall. So we're going to take this game just really serious.
I think it was after the after the win that made you 4-0, somebody actually asked you about 16-0.
Yeah.
And you only.
It wasn't you?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was, but I heard the question and the answer, though, and you jumped on that person before they could even get the last words out.
Yeah, I don't like talking about that because, subconsciously I feel like you're kind of overlooking, you're assuming that you're just going to roll it out on Sundays and it's going to happen. It doesn't work like that in this league, Other coaches are getting paid just like our coaches are getting paid. They have a job to do. It's not even about the money. It's a pride thing. I feel when you're coaching in this league, like, you can't accept the loss. And when you're trying to get players to play to a certain level, and you only can expect greatness because if you expect it, then you have a good chance of getting it. When you just kind of let things slide, and even after this win, we went in there and watched film as a group. Our coach came down. He was very critical of us. I think when you win games, that's the best time to be critical because people, their emotions won't get involved, and you won't take things too personal. You understand that you're trying to get better. It's just when you lose and when the coach is being critical of you, that's when it's a little bit harder because he's kind of critiquing you as well.
Well, it's one of those things where if you want people to respect you, you better not be talking about 16-0 because there's 10 more teams on the schedule that are going to take it as you're not respecting them. And then it makes your job even harder.
Right, because when you start talking about 16-0 and you overlook this game, you lose. Well, I guess there's no chance for 16-0 anymore. So if you take care of every game as a one-game season, your chances of winning increase.
All right, guys, good luck against the Rams on Sunday. You and I will be back here with another guest on Monday to talk about it.
Yes, sir.
CJ, best of luck to you. Thanks for coming out, all right?
Thanks a lot, CJ.
CJ Wilson and BJ Raji. Special thanks to you, the fans back at home. We'll do it again next Monday night right here at Tanner's in Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network.